It's Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. Markets closed a couple hours ago, and there is just more hope that this Fed is going to slow it down, that inflation's going to slow down. And because of this hope, Dow Jones closed up nearly 400 points today, NASDAQ up 150 points. And the title of this CNBC article today, Dow Jones jumps 400 points as investors bet rising rates and inflation to ease into year end. You can hope for anything you want. Do you really think that prices are going to come down at the grocery store? Do you think prices of essential items is going to come down? Some of it may, but some things are going to continue to go up. And now we're looking at this railroad strike, which would literally be a nail in the coffin for this economy. It would create so much inflation if this strike takes place, and I pray that it doesn't. But do you really believe? Is there really hope? And is there enough hope that the Dow Jones went up 400 points today? Because I think there's a few things you can bet on that we're going to see at this year end and into 2023. It's going to be massive layoffs. It's going to be record debt, household debt, federal debt. We're going to see a housing collapse. Inflation is going to continue to be out of control. We're going to see more food shortages. We're going to see social disruptions. We're going to see this homeless crisis continue to magnify and be a big problem. We're going to see more store closures. We're going to see more restaurant closures. Look, I believe these markets are so fake. The data that we're getting is extremely fake. Don't believe it. Things you know as well as I do are going to continue to decay in this country as people continue to lose their jobs, continue to dip into the retirement savings, into their checking accounts, into any money they have saved up now in order just to survive day to day. And they're acquiring record amounts of credit card debt in order to do this. Is this really the sign of a recovering economy? Absolutely not. Third quarter, investors' home purchases dropped 30% as price increases slow down. This on CNBC. Home sales have dropped for 9 straight months. We have yet to see the housing collapse. When we do, this is going to be catastrophic to the U.S. economy, to the job market, to the stock market. It's going to be absolutely catastrophic. Investors right now are heading to the exits, and it's just begun. You ain't seen nothing yet. We're going to see a lot of investors and a lot of homeowners begin to realize what's happening, and they're going to rush to the exits and get out, because this housing market and these investors, they're not coming back anytime soon. They know now what is about to happen and what has begun. Investors, you have to look at it this way. You typically have more cash than the regular home buyer or the traditional home buyer. Many of their deals are cash deals. And so they're going to be a little bit more savvy, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more knowledgeable with what's taking place in these markets. Not all, but many are. And many of them now are heading to the exits because they see exactly what is happening in the housing market. They have the cash, but they're not going to use it right now because they know prices are going to tumble. Here's one on the hedge. A shocking 37% of real estate agents couldn't afford October office rent. Many agents in the last couple of years were just order takers. Anybody could sell a house. They were just order takers. Now, people that remain in this business are going to have to know what they're doing, and they're going to have to especially know how to adapt to this changing market. And if you're in real estate, you better have cash saved up to get through the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to be very, very bumpy. And the people that survive are the people that are really, really good at what they do. They know these markets. They have cash put away for the slow times. But a majority of real estate agents, they're going to be in big trouble here. They're not going to be able to survive the storm. They're not prepared. Many people who just got into real estate in the last couple of years have no understanding of a downturn, how quickly it can slow down, how quickly you can go from making $100,000 a year to zero. And that's what's happening right now in the real estate industry. Best Buy shares soar as retailers sticks with its holiday quarter outlook. Today, Best Buy up 12.7%. Year to date, down 21.7%. They said in the article here, sales fell less than projected, and electronic demand, TVs, stereos, computers, what have you, held up. This is not, in my opinion, a great time to buy a big screen TV if you have to put it on a credit card or if you're broke. People right now can't pay down their debt. They can't buy a house, but for some odd reason, they can afford a 70-inch TV. And right here, the picture of a couple guys right here loading up a 70-inch TV into their SUV. This is the dumb money, ladies and gentlemen. It's the dumb money that's going to go in and spend $1,000 on a TV right now, put it on a credit card or a buy now, pay later plan. If you have credit card debt right now and you're struggling to pay it off, why in the world would you go out and buy a television right now? Best Buy expects comparable sales to decline about 10%. Net income fell to $277 million from $499 million a year ago. Results may be better than expected, ladies and gentlemen, but demand is down from the highs of the health crisis, and we all realize that all that free money, the benefits, the unemployment, the stimulus checks, it's all gone. Most of it is dried up now, and people don't have the money now to go and buy this stuff other than if they're putting it on a credit card and falling deeper into debt. But we're going to see more problems with retail, and Best Buy, again, down 21.7% year to date. We're going to see big trouble in 2023. So I hope these people enjoy their Christmas as they go deeper into debt, as they become bigger debt slaves than they are already. There was a great article on King World News. Rob Arnett, asset manager, investor, entrepreneur. This guy currently oversees $140 billion. He says, people talk about buying the dips. I prefer to buy the crashes. And I think that that's probably the best advice you're going to hear all week long when it comes to investment advice. So many people jumping back into these markets, this sucker's rally that we're seeing take place, which is based on absolutely nothing. There's absolutely no fundamentals in these markets right now, and people are getting suckered right back into this. But Rob Arnett, who currently oversees $140 billion, I think said it better than anybody else. People talk about buying the dips. I prefer to buy the crashes. And I think that that's sound advice right now. And I think that we're seeing dips and we're seeing sales, discounts, but we have not seen anything yet. We are going to see things that we never thought humanly possible in these markets. These markets are completely fake. They're held up on hope now. Hope, with nothing fundamentally backing them. The news, the data, the numbers continue to come in severely bad. And we look at some of the sales numbers that we're getting, and they're very, very mixed. But you look at what's happening around the world. You look at the amount of debt that we're carrying right now. You look at the amount of layoffs. You look at inflation and people struggling paying their bills right now. 20 million households in the U.S. could not pay their utility bills last month. I mean, we are in a whole new world here, ladies and gentlemen, and people believe that, things are going to go back to some sort of normal, this is as bad as it's going to get. We're going to recover now based on no fundamentals, based on record amounts of people now who are going to be laid off, a housing crash now looming, a homeless crisis crash looming. Inflation, the highest we have ever seen in the United States of America when we're talking real inflation. And this country is not producing, it's not manufacturing, and people are not prepared for a downturn. People are not prepared for a downturn. 40% of this country doesn't even have $400 saved up for an emergency. Over 60%, 63% of this country living paycheck to paycheck. How is this sustainable as a country that just consumes and acquires more debt, doesn't produce, doesn't manufacture, and spends money it doesn't have? I would not be buying these dips. I would be buying the crashes, ladies and gentlemen, as Rob Arnett says. Another one, crypto brokerage Genesis is set to warn of bankruptcy without funding. I don't know how people could not see how dangerous this Ponzi scheme was. This crypto bank needs $1 billion in fresh capital right now to survive. I can't stress enough the importance. If you don't hold it, you do not own it. This is another prime example of how dangerous these Ponzi schemes are. And yet today I'm watching some of the business channels, and there's still people out there pumping it that, you know, now with what happened with FTX, it's no big deal. It needed to happen. It's irrelevant. And we don't know how many billions of dollars, how many creditors are out there, how this is going to affect banks, hedge funds, pensions, retail investors, the economy. Billions of dollars absolutely burglarized with FTX, and now Genesis. Oh, by the way, if you want to try to get your money out of Genesis right now, try to do a withdrawal. You're probably going to have a very, very difficult time doing it. But, you know, people want to trust their money in Ponzi schemes. They're going to get exactly what they wished for. Here's another one from the hedge. 9 to 12 more months. That's how long U.S. consumers have before the bottom falls out. This according to the Wall Street Journal. Household savings rate in 2019 was 8.8%. 2020 it was 16.8%. In 2021 it was 11.8%. And this past September it was 3.1%. 3.1%. Consumers are spending more money and they're saving less. And it blows my mind that there are going to be people out there that are completely broke, beyond broke. They owe so much money and they're going to go out and run up the credit cards and owe even more money. And look, it doesn't matter to me what these people do. That's up to them. You have free will. You're an adult human being. You have, 18 credit cards and a lot of debt. You can do whatever you want to do. But this is going to end very, very bad for so many people. And the scary thing here is we are heading into a massive economic downturn, a collapse, and people are carrying more debt than ever. And this is going to just absolutely destroy these people, as they are just nothing more than debt slaves right now. And the debt slaves are trapped. They're trapped. They have so much debt. They're so far in that I think that a lot of them think like, look, I owe so much already in student loan debt and my rent and my credit cards and my student loan, and that they just figure they're going to just go all the way to the end. They're going to party this all the way to the end. Households are depleting any savings that they have. This country has a spending problem. They don't know how to save. They know how to spend. They know how to spend money they don't have. And these are the people, ladies and gentlemen, who will be knocking at your door one day for help. While you made the sacrifices, I'm making sacrifices literally daily. I did order some more gold from SD Bullion, just received it. I will do an unboxing this week. And I know that somebody out there will say, you're just showing off. You're showing off all your gold. No, I'm not. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And I do an unboxing here and there just to prove a point that, hey, I bought this and I had to cut something out of my life to spend, $2,000 on this 1 ounce gold buffalo or whatever. And again, gold, silver, they don't do anything. It doesn't entertain me. It doesn't do tricks. It doesn't cook dinner for me. It doesn't do anything for me. I buy it. I put it away. I don't even think about it. I don't even look at it. Nothing. I have no connection to it other than it's wealth preservation and it's insurance. And that's how I look at it. I buy it, I put it away, I don't think about it. But I have to make sacrifices to do that. So if you had to go buy, an ounce of gold today with the premiums, you're looking at close to $2,000. What could you do? I mean, you could take a nice trip. If you bought a couple ounces, you could go to Hawaii. Maybe you could buy, if you're buying enough gold. I've bought enough gold to where I could buy a Ferrari or I could have bought a boat. I could have bought a lot of fun for the amount of gold and silver that I bought. I could have had a lot of fun, could have bought some really, really nice toys. But I walk the walk the best that I can. I would not tell any of you to do this unless I was doing it, and you don't have to do it. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm sharing with you what I'm doing and why I think it's important to do, why it's important to own real assets, not digits on a screen at Genesis or FTX, because that can be disintegrated overnight in a second, and you're left with nothing, zero. When you're your own central bank and you have your own gold, your own silver in locations that are safe that you can get to, you're going to sleep much better at night. Look, it may not go up 1,000% like some of these Ponzi schemes, but it ain't going to zero. And that's the importance. It's going to keep up with inflation, and it's going to be there when you need it. So that's why it's so important to me. And again, I don't show you an ounce or 2 or 3 ounces of gold to go, look at me, look what I bought. I do it because I'm proving a point that I didn't take the money and go buy toys. I didn't go buy a Ferrari. I didn't go buy a boat. I'm taking the money and I'm buying this yellow metal that I put away, don't look at, don't think about, and it's there for an emergency, okay? And I pray to God I never have to use it, but if I do, it's there. Again, it's not to say, look at me. It's to prove that, hey, I'm making the sacrifice just like a lot of you are making the sacrifice. We have to make sacrifices right now in order to prepare for this tsunami that is coming. There's a lot of people out there that sell a lot of gimmicks, sell the scams, tell you to buy this, buy that. They don't own any of this stuff. I've always been a person to walk the walk and put my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to continue to do that. This isn't about, having 80 sponsors a month trying to sell gimmicks and garbage to you. I buy what I say I'm buying, and guess what? Chinese central banks are doing it. Most central banks across the world are doing the same thing. And you have to come to the conclusion, what do they know that most people don't? Why are you not your own central bank? Why do you not hold real money, which is gold, which is silver? And if you're not holding this asset when things collapse, it doesn't matter. The cryptos aren't going to matter. Fiat currencies aren't going to matter. Stocks and bonds aren't going to matter. None of that's going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is physical assets. As we go back, I think, to a simplicity, back to where people hold real things, want to barter with real things, want to get to a financial system backed by real things. And so I think that's why it's so important right now. So, I show this stuff because I want to verify with all of you that I'm making sacrifices, again, just like many of you are doing, many of you have, many of you made many more sacrifices than I have. But I could definitely take a couple $1,000s per ounce and go have a great time, go take a nice trip to Las Vegas, instead of buying all this gold, go buy a Ferrari, start a car channel, go buy a boat, hang out in Havasu. This is not the time for that. There'll be plenty of time for those games and for those videos down the road. Right now, we are in a crisis situation as this country is heading down a very, very treacherous hole, as probably 97% of this country is completely unprepared for what's about to happen. And people are really going to suffer here. And people are really going to be tested. Whether you're prepared or not, you are going to be tested. People have never seen bad times like we're going to see in America. We're going to see, I think, third world type events here in America. We're going to see depressionary type events here in America. Most people cannot even cook a microwave meal today. How are they going to survive what is coming? These are things we all have to be asking ourselves. Look, I'm not as tough as my parents or my grandparents or my great-grandparents were. I can admit that. Do I look at my phone more than I should? Yes. Am I a softer human being than I should be? Yes, absolutely. Guilty as charged. Do I not eat the best of food at all times? Guilty as charged. Do I skip going to the gym from a day here, a day there? Absolutely. Am I not, out training enough? Yeah, guilty. I could be doing more. No doubt about it. I'm not as tough as my grandparents. I'm not doing enough. Guilty. I think most of us are. Could I be making more sacrifices? Probably yes. Yes. And these are all things we need to be thinking about. How serious are you about what's coming? Do you believe that we're going to see tough times? Do you believe we're going to see a collapse in this economy here in America? Many people think that the Fed will just keep it limping along for the next 100 years. I don't believe that's going to happen. I really don't. I think the writing is on the wall right now. We're seeing a lot of signs right now with crime, with the amount of homelessness we're seeing, the amount of drugs in America, the leadership, the economy. We're seeing a lot of signs about where this is going. I'm not seeing anything improving. Are you? If you don't see things improving, and you're watching things deteriorate as I am, ask yourself, why are you not getting ready? Why are you not preparing? What more do you need to see to be convinced that we're on the verge of a major collapse? Ask yourself that.